Boom. Awesome. All right. I like this setup.
Cool.
All right, we are going
Sweet.
live now. We're live. Fire noise.
Trying to figure out what's going on here.
What is
I
going on?
want Hangouts back.
I think we all want Hangouts back. But
Yes.
regardless of that, what is going on, guys? What is going on? Welcome to this week's episode 97 of the STS Guys. I am Jeremy.
Hey, it's Larry.
Hey guys, it's Nate.
And I'm Scott.
And we are the STS Guys, a weekly podcast where we sit around, shoot the shit, and talk about anything geeky, dirty, and cool. What is going on this week, guys?
It's been a week.
Yeah. Oh, as everyone comes out here, we did forget something, guys. Fire
What?
noise.
Bye.
I said fire
Hey,
noise.
So we got a bit of a hiccup, guys. I'm looking at our actual live stream, and it's just Jeremy on the screen now.
Son of a
Yeah.
bitch.
It just switched though.
Yeah,
There
I
we
just
go.
pulled up YouTube, and I'm like, wait, oh, yay, we got us back.
Yeah. I don't know what you did, but we're back.
We're back. Hooray.
We're back. We
Yay.
are back.
So what were we saying about missing Google Hangouts?
Yes. I need that back for all that's
But-
good and holy. Please,
Hey.
please do Hangouts back.
Hey, but we are trying something else new this week. We were trying to go live at 8 p.m. Pacific. So if you guys normally join our live streams, yeah, we're a little late today, but we're trying to go. I can't talk. We're trying to go live an hour earlier.
Hey,
Yes.
I can definitely appreciate that.
Well, Jeremy, you looked pretty beat at the end of last week's episode, so the three of us got together and we're like, "Hey,
What can we do for Jeremy?
let's go live an hour earlier."
You know what?
Yeah.
I appreciate that little nugget of compassion, just because that way, you know what, our podcast doesn't go into tomorrow for me.
Yes.
Yeah, we consistently run over, so we're into tomorrow most times when we wrap up.
Sure.
But you know
So
what,
you
guys?
don't like going into Sunday?
It's just a little weird. It kind of throws off my weekend a little bit. But you know what? No matter what, the podcast is worth it. So you know what? I want to get through it. So because you know what? I love you guys.
But it's good.
I love.
But if you ever want to join us live, looks like we're shooting for 8 p.m. Pacific now. So
What? But you know what, guys?
Dropping that hour.
You know what else has been? It's been a week.
It's been a week?
It's definitely been a week.
Come on, Larry. Has it been a week?
oh yeah, I said it. It's been a week.
It's been a week.
It's been a week.
Yes.
All right. So does anybody
All
got? It's been a week. Sorry, I got it's been a week.
So, all right. Well, I surprisingly don't, because our "It's Been a Week" I think is going to bleed into the story that I
Yeah.
wanted to that Larry and I want to talk about. So, Jeremy, let's hear your "It's Been a Week."
Well, you guys already know because we already talked about it earlier today. Like I said my it's been a week actually just happened today. I bought a new car. So
Ooh, that's always a fun experience.
Mhm.
And when I say fun, I'm going to do the quotes.
Air
'cause
quotes.
Well,
Air quotes.
and you know what? Like I said, normally I said it's you know the fucking worst time in the entire world. You know, sitting there at the dealership and going back and forth 100 million times and going through
Yeah.
that same song and dance. But you know what? It actually wasn't bad this time. We were in and out in a couple hours, and I said got the price I wanted and walked away with a brand new Mustang.
Nice. Well, congrats. Getting a
Thank
new
you.
car is always kind of fun. Like you said, once you're done with the buying process, it's always cool to have a new car.
Yeah, once you drive the car, that's where it's good. Is once it's actually yours and you're off the lot, you're like, all right, now I'm happy. But there's that like couple hour moment before that where you're like, I want to stab everybody in this room with a fucking pen.
Yeah,
Well,
the best part of buying a car is driving it off the lot.
No, I absolutely agree with that. Well, even honestly, even that wasn't the case with this one necessarily, just because. So you guys know the car that I previously traded in. So I've driven hybrids. I've driven, like I said, you know, Scott's known me for years. Like Scott's known all the cars that I've had over the years. I've had hybrids. I had a full on electric car. I've had this. I said I went completely the opposite direction this time and went sports car. I'm not used to having a gas pedal so touchy to where basically wants to throw me back in the seat and just take off.
Well, because you finally have a car with horsepower.
Yeah.
That fucking electric car.
Yeah.
Every time I drove that thing, I always had to ask you several times, is this even on? Like, how do I know if I hit the gas, is it going to drive forward?
I gotta tell a Scott electric car story.
Okay, you go. Yeah, I know which one you're going to talk about too.
So me and Scott, so we've worked together for years, right? And one of the things was, I'm like, I had a meeting that I had to be in, and then I'm like, and at our old work, we had these electric car charging spots that you can only be in for a certain amount of time. I'm like, I don't have time to move my car. Otherwise, I said, if you don't move out of the spot in time, they'll actually tow your car. So I'm like, I don't want my car getting towed. So I'm like, Scott, can you do me a solid? I'm like, I said my Bolt. I said my Volt is parked in. I said the spot. I'm like, can you go move it for me? He's like, you know what? As a good friend of yours, absolutely, I will go do that.
I will do this for you.
He will do me this solid.
Yes.
Solid. So he goes out to the car, and he's trying to. So he's like, it's a push button start. So he starts it with the push button, like that, and then he goes to back it up, and then like I said, it doesn't move. It just goes like backs up on its like two wheels like a transformer.
Yeah. Apparently, it has a really good parking brake that I didn't know how to disengage.
Because so typically your parking brake is either at the floor, you unclick the pedal, or it's got the little little emergency lever, or sometimes even on fancier cars it has like little electric parking brake in the center console. No, I neglected to tell Scott the parking brake for this one is in the center of the dash.
Yeah, it's just randomly on the dash, and it's a little button
it's
that
next,
you just kind of like.
Next to that. Would you like air conditioning, or would you like to release your parking brake?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I was like, I don't know how to do this. I'm like, oh, I guess he doesn't have a parking brake. Electric cars maybe don't need them. So I put it in reverse, and apparently the one wheel's locked, but that doesn't stop the other wheels from going in Jeremy's old car. And so yeah, it legit lifted up.
Nice.
I was like, Jeremy, I think I broke your car.
That is random placement, though.
It was such a
Such
random
an
placement.
odd spot.
Wait, so which is it? The front wheels that lifted up?
No, the back.
So
The back lifted up?
Yeah, so basically it lifted up almost like you're like driving over like a speed bump backwards.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I was like,
Yeah, that's weird.
and I was like, oh god.
That would kind of freak me out.
Yeah, it was a little sketch. So
Yeah,
I was very afraid that I broke Jeremy's car.
Yeah, so
and then
it was
to the point though. I turned it on, and then was like sat there for a couple minutes, being like, "Did it do anything?" Like, because
Is it working?
Goes, yeah, it goes, brrr, and then like it plays like a noise. It's not the engine; it plays a noise to let you know the engine's on.
yeah. Well, like I said, it's almost like a, I don't know. It's like a transformer turning on. So,
And then it's just silence. And I was like, oh god, I don't know what I'm doing. This car is too advanced for me.
It's broken again.
it's like
It's
a spaceship. But no, yeah, no. To that point though, like I said, this one is the complete opposite because, like I said, you like barely touch the gas, then like I said, you're like zooming down the road really fast. So,
Yeah.
still getting used to driving this because it's a little touchy, but it's fun.
Are you almost getting into accidents, Jeremy?
No, never, not me.
Yeah, speak about polar opposites, going from like an electric car to this. I mean, you got some crazy power in that Mustang. How many horses you packing in that thing?
I think it's 340.
Holy crap.
Is it a V8?
No,
6?
no,
More?
it's a four-cylinder.
It's a V.
It's a four-cylinder
What?
turbo.
Wow.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so and it's
is crazy.
it's basically a four-cylinder turbo running like I forgot how many pounds of boost it's running,
Yeah.
but it's definitely different.
It's substantial.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
That's cool.
Well, that is a good story to tell, Jeremy, because that is not something that we will all do very often.
No, but I've got to point out that the first time in 97 episodes that we've ever talked about cars.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure, right?
That is true.
97 episodes.
Wait, well, Larry, do Transformers count?
No.
No.
I mean,
Okay, because I was gonna say even if that happens,
like,
I'm pretty sure not
horsepower.
7 episodes.
Oh,
Horsepower just came up on the STS
No,
Guys
well,
podcast.
Parking brakes.
No,
Not really our thing.
No, and the funny thing is, I said, too bad. I said I couldn't have saved this for, like I said, if we were like talking about like Hobbs and Shaw or like a Fast and the Furious
Yes.
movie, like that would have been a perfect transition.
Surprise! I saw Hobbs and Shaw.
So
Nice.
I
I've
do
seen it
like
too.
I did like in Hobbs and Shaw the little Mini Cooper that that they added in there as the little Italian job nod.
Yeah,
that was good.
That was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah, so
we might have to do like a little mini Hobbs and Shaw review too.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think it's
So,
perfect
Larry,
segue.
Have you seen
Seriously,
it,
right
Jeremy?
now.
I have not seen it.
Okay.
That honestly didn't
saw-
interest me.
I saw a very bad rip of it, so I turned it off partial the way through. So, Larry, you are the resident fan of
True.
the series. So I want to get your opinion on it. Tell us about Hobbs and Shaw.
Some podcasts plan things, others just like bring up a major topic during their intro.
Let's do that.
We add them.
Yeah, we're
Fuck,
the
it's been
latter
a
today.
week.
We don't
Let's
have
go
a ton
Hobbs
of
and Shaw.
content this week anyways, so let's,
Yeah.
we're fleshing.
So-
It totally works. So Hobbs and Shaw, right? Like, I love Fast and the Furious movies. I saw the first one like 12 times in the theater. I saw the second one like 12 times in the theater, and I don't hate Tokyo Drift. So, I don't know. I think just the Fast and the Furious universe, the fact that it's number one, it's still going on. Number two, that they can have a spin-off movie. It's just pretty cool in itself that this thing, like, I feel like a personal attachment to these movies that have grossed billions of dollars. But like, it's cool that that they've come to this point where the characters in the franchise is so big that they can have two kind of side characters go off and be in their own movie. It didn't exactly feel like a Fast and the Furious movie. I mean, there's cars in it, of course, and all that stuff, but ultimately it's just like a buddy cop team up.
I was gonna say it seems more like an action movie than
it's just a normal action movie. What's the like just two opposite guys, like the Odd Couple? Yeah, like that old Odd Couple show. It's that, but
it's
kind of
Lethal Weapon.
It's a modernized lethal
It's
weapon.
a modernized Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Like,
but it was it was good. I enjoyed it. Like you said, it was just a good action movie. I think we had talked about it on the podcast. Yeah, we did, because that wrestling episode for Royal Rumble back in January, we talked about the Hobbs and Shaw trailer. We all felt that the trailer gave away too much, which it kind of did. Like, it showed a lot of plot points, but like I feel like that there was still enough on the table, because this movie was like almost 2.5 hours long. It was kind of long. Like, it still saved a little bit back for the actual movie. It is what I thought, though. Like, you did get a lot of the scenes in the trailers, but it was still good. It's not like a Marvel movie where you can show me too much and it kind of spoils the story. Like, it's just an action movie. There weren't any big twists or turns.
So let me ask
I
you
don't
this.
really care about if it gets spoiled, because I want to see the scene again anyway.
Right. And I think, to Larry's point, I feel like a lot of the stuff that was spoiled, quote unquote, in the trailers was really from the very first part of the movie and then like the third act. It wasn't a lot of like the middle in between stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that happened that I didn't really expect to happen. And I wasn't as big of a fan of the franchise as Larry is. I mean, I still love Fast and the Furious, but I'm not a diehard like Larry. But I went and saw it anyways, and I actually enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. The Rock and Jason Statham do a really good job in the main roles, and I think Idris Elba is one of the best villains of the series. Like, he is a total badass in this movie, and he makes it really enjoyable, actually.
I really don't know anything that he's in that I don't really like.
Yeah. Like Dark Tower was.
But was that his fault?
It wasn't. It wasn't.
Like, he did well in that job, and it was just not a good movie.
It wasn't.
But like,
his fault,
he
but
did
it
well
was-
for the role that he had.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault, but like I said, it's still like, it was a pretty bad movie.
Yeah, that was not a good one. I think one thing they do a really good job is really showing him a lot throughout the movie. He's shown in the very first part. He's like active throughout the entire movie, so you really get to learn about his motivations and why he's doing what he's doing. And they, create this new company that will probably show up in future movies, based on how they've kind of built this. I thought they did a really good job with his character and kind of explaining why he's like this super-powered guy, and how he's, such of a challenge for these two guys.
Yeah, and he wasn't super one-dimensional like he could have been. Like Nate said, like there was some, like his character actually developed throughout the movie because we learned more about him. We learned his motive. It was surprisingly good for a Fast and the Furious movie, like to have a legit villain. I think they kind of did that in the last one too. Like they're kind of figuring out how to make this work and make it more intriguing. And they've got this whole universe thing going on because don't think we've officially said it, but spoilers, I guess, minor spoilers. There's like a secret main boss who you just hear the voice, and I have no idea who that is. But somehow it's got to tie into like one of the other movies or something. Yeah. So like they're clearly building on something.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I'm like, because so Tyler Calvert brings up, he said that Roman Reigns is in the movie. So obviously we get some cameos from some other franchise actors, right? So do you see anybody else in the movie, and does it set it up for basically another spin-off of another couple of people or another track of where they're going to take the franchise?
So let me jump in and go through here. I think that the big one is the Ryan Reynolds thing was what tripped me up.
Yeah.
Him being like
he's a cop.
Yeah,
right?
like, but he's kind of at the end. He kind of turns out to be potentially working with the overarching bad guy, right? Like, he's potentially set up to be a villain in the next one, or at least be working with them in the next one.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. Do you think he's the mystery voice?
I don't know if he's the mystery voice, or if he's at least maybe he's working with them.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
So Scott didn't watch it all the way through. Do you know the second big cameo? It's Kevin Hart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Kevin Hart's in there as well.
It was pretty funny. Like he's air marshal. He's on the plane when they're flying somewhere. That whole scene's pretty good.
Total compensation type guy. You know, he sees The Rock and Statham, and then he feels way outmatched. Yeah. So he's trying to puff himself up the whole movie. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. But like as far as we were saying, the trailer showed a lot. Nobody knew Ryan Reynolds was going to be in it. No one knew Kevin Hart was going to be in it. So there were definitely some big surprises that you didn't get from those trailers that showed a lot.
Right. Yeah, and that was the thing that I thought was good, is that they were able to bring those surprises in, even though we didn't expect them.
No,
yeah.
And honestly, I said, just you guys even talking about it, because like I said, I honestly really didn't have any interest in seeing this, to be honest with you, in the very beginning, because I like the Fast and the Furious movies for a very specific reason. I like the cars, and I said I like the car aspect, and I like this, and so that's why I didn't really have an interest in seeing this, because I didn't see a whole lot of the cars and the driving and that being a focus from the trailers. So that's why I don't really need to see that, because I actually really like the rest of the Fast and Furious movies. I've watched them multiple times. I said I didn't watch the one 12 times in the theater, but I probably watched it, like I said, at least 20 times on DVD when it first came out. Well, especially especially being from Arizona, and then also just loving that version of the Mitsubishi Eclipse. Like I said, I love that iconic Mitsubishi Eclipse.
The green one?
The green one that Brian drove. So just doing that. And then they also focused on probably my all-time favorite car in that first movie, which was the Supra. So I love the Toyota Supra. I've had a infatuation with that car. Honestly, I've had a hard on for that car for years.
It's such a cool car. Yeah, for sure.
So much so,
especially at that time. Right? A neon orange car isn't quite as cool nowadays, but man, at the time, that was that first movie was awesome.
They used so many iconic cars like that, and the RX-8. That was big in the racing scene back then. The Supra was always everybody knew that was one of the fastest cars you could modify. It was cool. I will say, that's a great point, Jeremy. The racing isn't really a big part of the movie anymore. However, they do have a lot of cars still. It's just more in chase scenes.
Yeah.
Chase scenes have kind of taken over that.
Chase scenes and heists.
There's one scene, there's one chase scene in particular that is just so cool, where Idris Elba is chasing him on a motorcycle, and the motorcycle is like modifiable. It can like change itself, and it's like almost attached to Idris Elba in a way, like it follows him when he loses it. And there's some really badass scenes where he's like going underneath the semi, and he's like riding on the back of his motorcycle. So cool.
Yeah.
So even though they don't have the races, they definitely really flesh out those chase scenes and make them look awesome.
Yeah, there's multiple chase scenes. There's always it's kind of like there's always a car nearby.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because every Fast and the Furious movie, they always try to have, like I said, one big huge thing that they do. Like, they've had, like I said, the big race in the very first one. I think it was 5 or 6 where they dumped the cars out of the cargo plane on the parachute.
The tank thing in the
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, when they're in Dubai, and
Yeah.
like the car goes from one tower to the other tower.
Yeah, and then-
I know where you're going.
Yeah, and so what was the big big scene in this movie?
Yeah. What was the major stunt?
Yeah.
I have one in my mind, but I'm going to see if Larry
I don't, dude. So what do you got?
I'm going to say the big scene in this was one of my least favorite parts about the movie, and it's the showdown scene in the third act where The Rock's at his hometown, and they have this big like showdown scene with them using like clubs and stuff, and I think that was like the big kind of like fight scene, that kind of like big grandiose like this explosions and people fighting each other, and Roman Reigns like swinging a club around, and that's just, I don't know. It was a little over the top for me. And it was a little out of context. It was almost like Rock's way of forcing himself into the movie. Like, I'm going to have this part. I'm going to speak Hawaiian. I'm going to show some of my culture. And we're going to make this fit in the movie. Even though it felt like the most out of place scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, I kind of felt that too. So that was kind of, if I had to pick a scene, that was a scene I was going to pick too. I don't think it really fits on the same level of ridiculousness as the other scenes that Jeremy named, but that was the big epic scene. Like, it wasn't, but it was just a big fight scene. And same thing, dude. I was just thinking, like, okay, The Rock had to say, got to choose the location for this, right? It's Samoa. He's like, we're going to Samoa. We're going to do this big, fight scene. Like you said, they had no guns. It's just these homemade weapons and stuff going up against Superman. Black Superman. But somehow they're able to win. Like, it was crazy.
No, it just like I said, every movie just has some like over the top thing. And I think from the last one wasn't it I think it involved The Rock too with that with the submarine. Like, it's just with the missile and the submarine. Like there's always some like just like ridiculously crazy.
Yeah,
like,
remember them dragging the safe through Brazil?
Yeah, that was
that one. Yeah, like I know what you mean. I don't think this one had one quite that on that level, at least not that I can think of. Maybe the one Nate mentioned with the really cool motorcycle, that was probably about as ridiculous and futuristic as it got.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And oh man, there's a scene ripped right out of a Marvel movie, and The Rock had to do it, where he's holding the chain and holding the helicopter and like screaming, flexing his muscles.
So you're talking about that scene with Captain America from Civil War.
Yeah, the Civil War helicopter.
It's basically a one-for-one of that scene, just with The Rock.
Escaping, yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
It was.
Oh, okay. So
funny.
that part's pretty ridiculous. They stacked all those trucks together to try to catch the helicopter. So the same scene that Nate's talking about. They're on the island and they've got all these trucks that come up one at a time and like link together. That way they can keep this helicopter within reach. That one was pretty ridiculous and like unrealistic.
Yeah, very unbelievable.
What did you?
Because those cars would just wreck.
What did oh yeah, for sure. That's no. Well, and even The Rock's holding the helicopter with no, it's ridiculous. Nate, what did you think about the new addition to the Fast and the Furious world? Jason Statham's sister.
I thought she was a really solid character, actually. I liked her more than I expected. She's a total badass. Definitely fits in Statham's family. So it'll be interesting to see how they use her going forward, because I thought she was a great addition.
Me too. Yeah, I don't think she's going away. Like she was pretty cool. Yeah, I thought of something else, but then I lost it. Yay.
Oh no. Well, let's go through this, because I don't feel like I can give a good rating on this since I haven't seen the whole thing. but I know that you guys have. So we need scores here. The STS Guys tradition. Out of 5, Larry, go.
Probably a 4.
I think that's Larry's highest rating ever for a movie.
Yeah.
I do too.
That 100%
That's right up there with
is.
like Infinity War.
It's funny. What did you
Wow.
give the last? You gave the boys a 2.
Yeah, he gave the boys a 2.
Oh, Larry. I'm gonna go in the middle of the road here. I'm gonna go 3.5. It's a great summer popcorn flick, but don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, well, like Jeremy said, he really wasn't too excited about seeing it. Like, it's even if you don't like Fast and the Furious, it's definitely worth seeing. Like, if you like good action movies,
Yeah.
it's a good action movie. And I remembered what I wanted to say. This has to come out. Hashtag Justice for Han. The one ridiculous thing about this movie is this Jason Statham guy who killed everybody's favorite Asian character, Han. Right, apparently shot him in the face, and now Jason Statham is just part of this family. Like, that part's not cool. I liked Han. I hope I think they're just gonna gloss over it. Like, Jason Statham, like, acknowledged, like, he did some bad things in the past that he regrets. But whatever, dude. Like, you killed Han. It's not okay.
Yeah, that's kind of like a big no-no. He killed one of the main members of the crew, and now he's just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna take this guy's spot.
In this movie franchise where the main theme is family, and you killed a family member, and yet somehow
You gotta join the
just kind of
family.
overlooks
Well,
that. Yeah,
it's just
got a little bit of problem with
well,
it.
Yeah.
that's all Hollywood though. Like I said, it's like because it's the star power to make. Well, just look at the Rock's character. Like I said, the Rock's back when they first introduced him, he was hunting and all
He was
of
the
them.
bad
Yeah,
guy.
he was the cop.
Like,
He was the cop that was
Yeah.
basically in charge of basically bringing all of them down.
Yep.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah, as much as I love that franchise, I don't really like that part either. Like, you're right, The Rock was the first one, and now this Jason Statham one's even more worse. And now they're in this movie together, so you gotta forget about that part.
So, all right. So
Scott,
speaking
did
of
you watch
movies-
any interesting movies?
I was gonna say, speaking of movies that we all watched, Larry and I did watch a very special movie this weekend. All I have to say is, tra la 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 la.
That sounds like the Banana Splits.
It does sound like the Banana Splits. Did you gentlemen know that they made a Banana Splits horror movie?
I did know that just because
I did know that.
I saw the trailer and wanted to see it, and I just have.
Did you say they made a Banana Splits horror movie?
Yeah.
I think he said they made a Banana Splits horror movie.
So
They did make a Banana Splits horror movie.
isn't the story? So from what I understand, I said, and correct me if I'm wrong. From what I understand of why this movie even exists, is it was technically supposed to be a Five Nights at Freddy movie, and they lost the licensing, and then they pivoted to Banana Splits. So that's what the rumor was, and so
It 100% reminds me of Five Nights at Freddy's. First of all, like 100%, it's very much along the same lines. Like, they are animatronic things that go haywire and start killing people. So yeah, it definitely could have been. I don't know if that's true. I know that they tried to make a bunch of kids Banana Splits TV shows, and none of them ever made it like any headway. So the guy was like, you know what? We can do it with a horror movie. And maybe they had that license where they're like, let's do it. Or, that property that they were prepping for. But yeah, so it was like, studio exec was like, just make a horror movie.
Yeah, so here's what I know, right? There's a comicbook.com article that said basically everything that Scott just said. There was this script that they had written for Five Nights at Freddy's. Something fell through with the licensing or whatever, and for the longest time they were trying to do something with Banana Splits. And somebody's like, I wonder if we took this Five Nights at Freddy's movie we got and this Banana Splits license that we got and put them together.
And let's make a straight to DVD.
Yeah. Right? So the Banana Splits movie now, highly recommend you check it out. It's available now on digital. It's coming out on DVD, I think, in September, so a couple weeks. And then it's going to be on the Sci-Fi Channel, too, a little bit after that. So you're going to have plenty of opportunities to watch it, including for free if you just wait a little bit.
Yeah. It'll be there, and to get it right now, I think you have to go through the Warner Brothers streaming platform right now, or through nefarious sites like Larry and I use.
Shut up.
No, you didn't.
The STS
No.
guys only use
no, you
official
didn't.
sources.
First off, no one who has any bearing listens to our shit.
So the banana splits. What? So all right. The premise of this movie, right?
Yeah.
The quick recap is the
Real
banana
quick,
splits in this
can
universe.
I say something real quick? I want to point something out because I just made fun of this before we started. Larry actually finished this movie, but never finished the episode of The Boys. So,
so we're now at two things.
It adds context to basically what Larry's about to say.
For any rating that he has. So let's
Larry's getting called out here.
Larry.
It's 5, guys. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. So, Larry, let's go through
All right. The premise of
this movie.
So in this universe, the banana splits, like, right? First off, the banana splits is like a kids' TV show from like the 60s. I believe it was created by the great Sid and Marty Krofft. It's these ridiculous guys in costume just did like this variety show, right? So in this universe, like, it's long canceled in our world, but in this universe, it's still a thing. And this kid Harvey is a big fan of the banana splits.
So Larry, let's say this weird kid Harvey.
Hey man, there's nothing
still a
weird
big fan.
about watching kid shows when you're a little too old to watch kid shows.
The dude he wears wings for a large portion of that, like fake fairy wings.
Yeah, Harvey was my favorite character, but whatever. So it's Harvey's birthday, right? So his family surprises him with tickets to go to a live taping of the Banana Split show at this creepy, weird studio lot. Like, and the Banana Split soundstage is way in the back. Like, the bleachers are all rusty, and it's all like, it's what you'd expect out of a horror movie.
Yeah, it looks very sketchy. Like, it's already setting up to be like, this is a horror movie.
Yeah, right. But it's like it hasn't been updated since the 60s, but they're all excited to go there. The plot mostly settles around this family, right? So it's the mom, like stepdad / dad, and a brother. There's a few other characters that we meet when they're waiting in line, including like a jerk dad who wants to get his kid to be a star, right? It's like a stage mom kind of thing.
They actually call him a stage dad at one point.
All right, see, I know what I'm talking about. There's some social media influencers that have like 200 followers on Instagram that are trying to live stream the whole thing, but you can't bring your phone in. So that guy's kind of a jerk. Stepdad's kind of a jerk. So you quickly figure out where this is going to go, right? So they go in, watch the taping. There's some scenes that they show behind the scenes. Again, spoilers, I guess.
We'll do spoilers on this one. No one's gonna anybody who watches this and it is upset that we spoiled it needs to like get a quick smack in the face.
Real quick, can
Can
we go to the chat real quick? Because like I said, I want to answer this question from Tyler. So Tyler Calvert points out, I asked a good question. So what other Hanna-Barbera properties would you like them to take and completely change their genre like this movie? And I have the perfect idea.
What do you got?
Man. I gotta hear this.
What if the Flintstones were turned into a horror movie, but they're cannibals?
Ooh.
Cannibal Flintstones.
Like Hills Have Eyes, but it's Flintstones?
Like Hills Have Eyes, but it's Flintstones.
Or maybe
That
they
would
use
be
people
good.
as bait for the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about a good like a Yogi Bear that instead of eating picnic baskets eats people.
I like the Flintstones. Yeah, that's not bad. But I like the Flintstones idea. Like, I think you do like kind of the cliche horror thing where somebody gets stranded on the road, right? They're going to walk in looking for help, and they find this house or this like rock house, like randomly out in the middle of the woods or something, and there's Fred wearing his like whatever Fred wears, like a loincloth kind of thing, looking all cartoonish, and then somehow he just starts murdering people.
Like,
it'd be good.
Come on,
yeah.
Cannibal
Sounds pretty epic. Actually,
Cannibal Flintstones. I'm like, I think I think it works.
Yeah, like I think Cannibal Flintstones or like survival horror Yogi Bear, I think would be good. Like the campers go to Jellystone and have to like survive when Yogi starts going on a rampage.
You know, I was a little iffy on that one until you said Jellystone, and now I'm back in.
Somebody prevents Yogi from getting a picnic basket,
And
so he
no,
eats
like,
the human
crazy.
instead.
so he's just eating people at the thing. And he goes on like he has to hibernate, so he has to collect all the meat or whatever. Like, yeah, like I think it would work. But so let's go into the movie. So basically,
Hold on.
premise of the movie.
Wait, hold on. I got this. So, real quick. Basically, like, right, they're at the staping, and we see some back-scene stuff, and apparently the banana splits are going to get canceled. I guess somehow the animatronic robots know about this, and they want to kill everybody. Right?
So-
Is that basically like it's never fully explained, but
So
that's kind of what happens.
Their explanation is that apparently they were programmed with in the code that the show must go on, right? Like, so that apparently equates to murder all the adults and force children to watch your show.
Yes.
So
It was
yeah, it's really weird. The funniest thing is like the effects. We have to talk about some of the effects because they are utterly ridiculous. Like, these things are supposed to be robots, right? But you can tell that they're a person in a costume going around. One of them gets like the fur of their arm ripped off at one point, so it's like a robot arm. But every time you see it, it is legitimately like a good 7 to 8 inches longer than the other arm, so you can tell it's a dude like has his hand in there like
Yeah.
holding on to something. Like, you're like some of the effects just don't necessarily stack up. But it is quite hilarious watching people in the fucking banana splits outfits committing horrendous acts of murder.
Oh yeah, the murders are all pretty legit, man. Like, one guy gets cut in half. Like, we won't spoil all that, but like the murders are pretty bloody and quite awesome.
Is it all the members that are murdering people, or just like one in particular?
All of them.
Yeah, everybody,
Okay.
all four
It
are
kind of
involved.
starts with
They're all
one.
serial killers. Okay.
They're all, yeah. So it starts with one, and then kind of spreads the others, and then they do somehow have different personalities or whatever. And so they do it all basically silently, which is the thing that I
Yes.
thought was great. Is silently until a certain point when all of a sudden they start quipping like Freddy, like in a certain scene, and then they stop doing that for later like parts of it. It was really kind of strange that like during like the scene I'm talking about where they start quipping is where they're making two of the adults run the slippy whatever it was like where they grease up the floor and they have to like run across like a little like obstacle course thing, right? And they all make suddenly they're all like, oh, we're gonna make quips here, like this is something we've done the whole time. Like that I thought was weird.
It was selective when they talked, and it wasn't very often. It was kind of weird. What did you think about the acting, Scott? Like, the overall,
it was choice.
So bad, man.
I love the fact when I looked up, like, I wonder if I know any of these people, and I didn't. Like, I don't know anybody who was in this film.
No, this
So
is their...
what you're saying is we could possibly get one of them on the podcast.
Oh, 100%. We could have them on so we could talk about
Larry,
the whole
Larry,
thing.
you have a mission, and I know you know exactly what you need to do.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
See what we can do.
I want Harvey.
The
kid
Harvey
was,
or
the kid
the
was my
older
favorite.
brother. The older brother.
Older brother is cool. I liked him, right? He's this emo kind of angry, teen angsty 19-year-old older brother.
Stoner. Yeah, stoner kid.
Yeah.
Larry, you
It
have
was
you have a mission. You have a
Or
mission.
or the steward girl would be pretty cool to have on.
Paige, the Page.
Yeah, the Page. Yeah, Paige the Page.
The Page.
Which I don't know if Paige is her actual name or they just started calling her that because she is the Page. Like I was unaware of like what her actual name was.
Well, that's the quality writing that you get from the Banana Splits movie. Is you get jokes about Paige being the Page.
Can I tell you about the most ridiculous thing that was in this movie though?
What was the most ridiculous thing ever that was in this movie though?
So they make this whole thing of like the Banana Splits have two sound stages, right? They have the main stage and then there's like a secondary stage. Yet in the movie, you find out in the basement underneath all the sound studios, there is a third sound studio that somehow has a ginormous pipe that shoots out gas that they put a flame in front of to set people on fire. But there's like an entire third studio underground somehow in this fucking movie that they are using at this point. What studio would ever have that? And there's like exposed pipes and shit all over the place.
Well, at one point the kids all get locked in like this cage thing that's in it's like the mechanic who built the Banana Splits animatronic robots. Why did they just have a cage that you can lock people into? Like it's just movie convenience.
Look at you guys trying to make sense out of a movie.
It's like, dude, it's one of those.
It's what we do.
It's this special type of movies that know that it's stupid and it's very stupid. It's fully
100%,
owning that it's stupid.
It's 100% self-aware. I will say that. Like, this movie is completely aware of how absolutely batshit ridiculous it is, and that no one is going to take it seriously. Like, there's an entire scene where you find out like they killed like 30 people off screen. But you're like, at what point did they have the opportunity to do this? Because we've seen them.
There's this hallway with just bodies on top of bodies. Like, it was surprising.
Yeah, and you're like, how? Like, where did this come from?
So you know what's interesting though is I think what's going to be kind of crazy. I think we're going to start getting more of these type of movies though. It's these weird, because like I said, we seem to have like it died down for a while, but now there's like a resurgence of like the B movie, and they're revitalizing some of these older properties too. So you guys had the Banana Splits, like I said, the horror movie. They just actually re-released a new Critters movie too. Like
that's gonna be a favorite. Like, those ones have always been aware that they're absolutely ridiculous and have ramped that up over time.
But I mean, horror movies have always been easy to make. They're low budget. I think they're onto something with this license thing where you take these kind of dead licenses and find a way to revive them just in a new way. Yeah. Everybody loves nostalgia. Even for things I don't remember, because I don't remember the Banana Splits.
I just want my.
So I'm not the biggest horror movie
guy.
Oh, now I'm terrified of them. I watched this right before I went to sleep last night. I did not sleep well, guys. I don't like horror movies.
I had nightmares.
Scott does more than I. Like, Scott, how does this compare to other horror movies?
So I'm with you, Larry. Like, horror movies for me generally, like, I love horror movies, but most of them are utterly ridiculous. And this fits in that utterly ridiculous thing. Like, it's not scary. It is very predictable, but it's a fun ride. Like, I do highly recommend everyone go check it out, because you'll get a kick out of it, because it's utterly ridiculous. It's the Banana Splits murdering people while singing the Tra-La-La song like half the time, like, or at least it plays quite a bit. And it's like this like Five Nights at Freddy spoof that immediately makes me want more of these murderous ones, and they set it up for a sequel.
Yep.
Wait, there's like gonna be they set it up for a sequel? That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
They did.
Don't. You gotta watch it.
I'm literally gonna. I said I'm gonna watch this probably maybe even later tonight. Like this is gonna happen just because.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming out, and just talking about it even more makes you just want to see it that much more.
Because the sad thing is, so they are. I'll tell you this: they are mascots, right? Like, I mean, you've seen the original Banana Splits.
They're really men in a suit, right? Like
they're really men in
a
suit.
Furry.
Yeah.
Like a furry, like a mascot, right? But they have that big fucking head.
It's like the Chuck E. Cheese band, you know?
Yeah. So
it's like the Chuck E. Cheese with the big head. But when they talk, the like mascot mouth moves, and then there's a guy in there being like, "It's hammer time!" Like, it's amazing that they do the little mouth and they talk, and they're like, "Okay, Davey." Like,
well, so I think Larry, you brought up kind of a good point. I don't know if it was Larry that said this originally, but you're taking these old licenses and you're kind of making these new movies now, like Banana Splits. What is they're making that Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is
Oh,
based
yeah.
on an old movie.
Yeah,
old book.
There's a book, yeah.
Old book, yeah.
Yeah, old book. That's right. And they had a bunch of different ones too, and I think they made a new one. But there's all these old ones. There's another one I was just thinking of, and now I just got a brain fart. But it's a Critters.
Yeah.
They're remaking a Critters movie. So it's
Jeremy
like
just
this
brought
is.
that up.
I literally just said
Oh
that.
yeah, I'm sorry. I know, but I was just saying, like,
mean-
you get these other examples of these movies, and it kind of reinforces that point because the other one, the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, it's almost like the year of like these horror revamps by using these old licenses.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
No,
look at
first and
Tyler
foremost,
in the chat brings up Child's Play.
Yeah, first and foremost,
Oh, yeah.
it's always my favorite part of the podcast when Nate doesn't listen to the podcast that he's currently on.
I was listening. I was just trying to tie it into my example. Damn it.
That's always my favorite part of the podcast because it happens.
I-
It happens more than once, like I said, every couple of weeks.
So yeah, but so Tyler brings up Child's Play too, where they kind of took that old property and modernized it. It's no longer voodoo magic. It's rogue AI.
Yeah, I want to see. Even though I'm not a big horror guy, I want to see that one too.
So yeah, it's got Mark Hamill.
Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza and Mark Hamill.
Right.
But yeah, so like, and to Jeremy's point, yeah, they did set this up for a sequel, so we may get more banana splits murdering people in different fashions later on.
I think it's a given. I heard they're already starting to record it. Just like they're already starting to record season 2 of The Boys.
Yeah.
Boom.
So wait, so I know Larry, you just tried to segue,
I
but
know.
we need to go through. I want to give a score for this. Give your score, Larry.
Can we call you Scott the Segway Killer? Because that
Yeah.
was
That was, because you didn't score movies. That's what we do.
I got to give it a 1. It was bad, but it was supposed to be bad. It's a 1.
Yeah. So I give it a 2.5 for me. It would be worse if they were doing it seriously, but that kind of tongue-in-cheek badness, I think, for me, gives it a little bit more oomph. But yeah, like 2.5.
Yeah. You know what else has a little more oomph? Season 2 of The Boys.
Yay! You brought it back. So yeah. So Jeremy, you said you had heard some news about The Boys here.
Yeah. So there was a. So if for those of you who don't know, like I said, season 1 of The Boys was the most watched Amazon original show ever in its first week. So basically, it outpaced every other show in the first week than the ones that are currently existing from the time they aired to current. So meaning it had a shit ton of views. So
That's
much
crazy.
so, because I said they didn't announce basically that they were renewing this because Amazon didn't know, like, are people going to like this or people are not going to like it? They didn't know how it was going to do. But once those numbers started coming in, I've never seen anybody fast track something so much to where there's actually a pilot episode for season 2 already that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, so from the Goldbergs, were actually talking about because they actually saw. So that they did the screener and they actually saw the pilot episode for season 2. Like,
Oh, nice. So it's
Cool.
that means we got a second season, at least in editing right now.
well, I said they're still
Or at least shooting.
Well, they're shooting. They're shooting right now.
Yeah.
So, but like I said,
Yeah.
they fast tracked this so much just because they want to strike while the iron's hot. While I said because season 1 was literally so incredibly popular. I think
It's got to be their best reviewed show ever, too.
yeah, it's well, and like I said it's one of those shows where I said I talk to everybody who hasn't seen it. Like I try to talk them into seeing the show. Like I said, Larry, like I said, you got to give the show a chance. Like it's one of those stories. It's just such a great story, and like I said I love the irony of it too. Just because like I said it's literally like I said an allegory. I said an allegory for basically why big corporations are bad. But it's just so awesome that Amazon's actually producing this.
Right. The
Right.
biggest corporation is making a show about why corporations are evil. It's the best amount of irony you could ever get.
It literally just adds that extra layer of awesomeness to the show, just because it just bumps it up that much more. And they already basically said, so what Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen were saying is that season 2 has an extremely larger budget. It's going to be bloodier. It's going to be even crazier for what sort of the effects that they're actually going to pull off. So they basically, I think, tripled the budget from the first season. I think that we're saying in the article I was reading. So we're going to get some good quality out of the show. I said the pilot's already done for season 2. They're shooting the rest. I can't wait for this to actually appear.
Fine. I'll go watch.
Yeah, you got to go watch it there. I'm with you, Jeremy. We're hearing the news that season 2 may be coming out sooner than we think. It is some of the best news I've had, because there's been a definite lag in TV lately, and The Boys has kind of came to save the day, and I burned through it too quick, so I need more.
So you're not watching season 3 of Glow?
You know what? I haven't watched season 1 of Glow.
Scott.
I know. You tell me how great the show is, but yeah.
I know this is another Riverdale conversation. I'm like, but it's actually a really good show.
You know what?
It's a really good show.
It's not that I don't have interest in watching it. I just have. It's one of those ones that I pass over all the time, and I'm in that Netflix like funk where I have like way too many things on my wish or like my playlist, and it's on there, but I just have yet to get to it or ever get in that frame of mind to be like, all right, I'm going to watch this new show now.
Like, it's pretty good. Like, it's not just a show about wrestling. It is a period thing, right? So it's got that 80s kind of Stranger
Nostalgia?
Things, ish vibe, right? Like, it's got that kind of similar vibe. It's a good show, man. Like, we don't have to talk about it more than that, but it's a really good show.
Yeah. I
watched that over The Boys, so yeah. No regrets.
I will give it a fair shake one of these days. It'll probably be like 4 seasons in. It's the same thing with me with the Goldbergs, man. I resisted watching the Goldbergs for the longest time, and then I watched it and I was like, oh, this show's really good. And so I had to like power through like, what is it, like 4 seasons to catch up finally.
At least I think they're further than that.
Yeah,
like,
well,
no, but like that was where I think I started
time.
when it came out, I was like, season like 4 or 5 had started, so I was like, oh, I'll need to go and like, I guess I'll go and like rewatch them on Hulu or whatever and bring that up. So
yeah, like Glow isn't as good as the Goldbergs, but it's one of my all-time favorite shows probably. Like it's up there. It's actually surprisingly really good. Like clearly I have this weird obsession with wrestling. I have this love-hate thing going on with wrestling. That I love the idea of wrestling, but I don't actually watch wrestling. It kind of falls into that. Like, but the majority of the episodes, they're not even wrestling. They might be training a little bit or whatever. But like season 1, they don't actually do like a match or a show until the very last episode. And that very last episode is really good, but so are the other like 9 leading up to it. It's more about the characters and all of that stuff and the relationships. So yeah, definitely recommend checking out Glow. And then, I mean, dude, it's on season 3 now. So like Tyler says, surprisingly, they haven't canceled it. So it's still a thing.
Somebody's watching it.
Netflix loves to cancel stuff that they don't own the licensing for, right? That's why we got all they don't want to pay other people for licensing fees, and that's their own creation. So I think they're going to milk that shit for all that it's worth.
It's got Allison Brie. Who doesn't love Allison Brie?
Everyone loves Allison
Just
Brie.
saying,
Even
season
Nate.
3.
Nate loves Allison Brie. Look at that.
I do.
Yeah.
Allison Brie.
Well, then you need to watch season 3, episode 3, because it's really good.
There you go. Speaking of streaming things, we got some news that there's going to be a bundle for Disney Plus. It actually might scare Netflix a little bit, that you can now get Hulu, Disney Plus, and their ESPN Plus all as one service. Do you think that's going to be a thorn in the side for like, say, Netflix?
Yeah, totally. It's not like, so I said like a week or two ago, that Disney Plus is going to be the Netflix killer. I don't mean it's going to like wipe away Netflix, but it's going to take a big chunk out of their subscriber base.
Yeah.
Like if I mean we're in a spot like we love TV, right? We got this podcast. We're not hurting for money, but if you're hurting, like if you had to make the choice to spend your $12-13 on either Netflix or Disney Plus, like some people are going to have to. Like I think a lot of people are going to choose Disney Plus, or it's at least going to make a lot of people start flip-flopping between the two, right? You might have Netflix for a couple months and then cancel it and then jump back over to Disney Plus, which again ultimately hurts Netflix subscribers. So they're definitely going to take a hit.
No, so what I see happening, so let me know if you agree with this. This is what I see happening. I think this is going to happen with a lot of streaming services, where I think Netflix, I think they'll dump everybody else's content but their own. I literally think they're going to get to a point to where why pay the licensing for basically all these movies? Why pay the licensing for all these these older TV
like
shows? Friends. Like I said, why do it? I said you know your money, you know your subscribers are coming back now for your original content. Like I said, you've established your subscriber base. You've basically given them a taste of your original content. You know that they love that original content based upon the numbers. Now, like I said, based upon this other stuff, get rid of the rest. Like I said, it said you'll lose subscribers. Absolutely, I think that's going to end up happening. But I think they can get to a model to where they can basically become their own original content provider, and then that's basically the quote unquote Netflix of the future.
So what you're saying is we're going back to just having different TV networks now, but they're all going to be streaming things versus
exactly
TV. But it's kind of like going on, when you go to like the network and you're like, like, oh, you need the arts and entertainment package, and then you need the the sports package. So basically, we're just getting all of our TV from packages now.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
Your package.
Yeah. Tyler mentioned HBO Max is coming soon too, man. Like that's going to be a big one. Like there's only people only have so much money to spend on TV, so you're going to have to start making more choices. Like I don't want 10 streaming services, like Scott said. That's at some point it's going to get ridiculous, and I'm going to have to start cherry picking what I want.
That's why I go. See, the problem is now that I have so many different things that I have to pay for, that's where I go back to starting to do torrenting and pirating, right?
Well,
like
the funny thing is, the funny thing is too, I said that's literally just a problem in the U.S. Like I said when I was overseas a couple weeks ago, like I refused to pay for the separate standalone CBS, right? Because they have like the new Star Trek. I know. So one of your coworkers. So they're all about the Big Brother and stuff that's on there. But the funny thing is that Star Trek is on Netflix overseas. It's not on the CBS streaming app. It's on Netflix. It's actually on Netflix. So it seems like this crazy streaming war, as far as like I said, what these pop-up services is literally localized, basically kind of like the North American market. And so I think there's going to become just becoming a saturation point of where people are getting sick of this, where they're going to stop paying for it. I think basically where Disney Plus has kind of the edge in this situation is, I said, they have an extreme library of content now.
Oh yeah, with good A+ quality stuff.
They have some great content. I said
and I think, Jeremy, to add to your point, is they have the content, and what they're now offering is their bundle is the same price as most single service providers, right? You get
they have a super
ESPN, Disney, and Hulu for was it $13?
Yeah. And in the words of Cartman, so they have a super bundaroo.
A bundaroo.
They have a bundaroo.
A Black Friday bundaroo.
Yeah, HBO by itself is like $16, so you're getting 3 for less than that. It's a pretty good deal.
Like I honestly didn't have Hulu up until like this month because I wanted to watch Scrubs. There's a ton of stuff on Hulu. And that alone is awesome.
And that's the thing, is it looks like with you say like Netflix dumping some stuff. It seems like there's a crossover with a lot of movies that are on Amazon, they're on Hulu, they're on Netflix, they're everywhere. So I wonder if like there's got to be some like repository somewhere of like these are things that like studios don't give a shit if anybody streams it. Like you can put these on your platform, no problem. So I mean, like just having access to that, they're all old movies, but like,
Well, and a lot of
you,
those, are just they're part of, like I said, the larger deals. Like, so for example, like hey, you get access to this entire like B catalog of shit if you license, like I said, like Friends, or you license, these bigger shows. Like,
right, we'll give you access to all these other movies that nobody wants to watch.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's gonna get. Like I said, it's gonna get crazy, and I think, like I said, I literally think the future of Netflix is 100% original content, because that's where they're dumping all their money at anyways right now, is in their original content. So they're spending so much money on producing this stuff. They know they can get an audience with it. I think they need a bigger library of original content, and I think that's the only thing that's kind of making them maybe nervous at this point, is they don't have a large enough original library yet to where, like I said, they have like 10 or 15 different Stranger Things, like like category of
yeah, and you
successful shows.
gotta keep pumping it out too. You got right, like you gotta have something new coming out every month, because if you don't, people are gonna cancel to save some money, and they might not come back.
Yeah. Well, and I think Disney has the benefit to that, where they have all the stuff from their like Disney Network shows that are going to be jumping on there, which let's face it, Disney's going to go after kids, right? Like there's going to be quite a bit of time where Disney is benefit is going to be in all those kids programming, because moms are going to want to play kids. Apparently, I said something, or Google like decided.
Yeah, I'm like, what was that?
They thought it was okay Google. Oh shit! Should I start it again?
Well, that time you did say it. So.
I did say it this time, but it thought I did another time. But yeah, like where Netflix really runs out of is they don't have a large stream of content that they're continually posting out. They don't have these IPs that they can sit and do like a revolving, like, we're going to play this season of this show while we make this season of this next show, and constantly have something new that's coming out. Where Disney, with all the different Disney channels, just broadcasting it on live and then moving it over to TV, they have a constant stream of new content.
Yeah, like I'm excited about them like throwing on random stuff. Like, do they own like Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers and like DuckTales? They should, right?
Classic
Unless
stuff.
that was like a partnership with somebody else.
I think
Give me all that stuff, man. Give me all the
Give me Rescue Ranger.
Yeah.
Dales.
Gummy bears.
I still want
Tailspin.
Yeah, dude, come on, you throw some Tailspin on there. I am making my daughter sit down and watch that shit start to finish in one afternoon.
I remember buying that at Costco for Scott.
Yeah, I did.
Really?
I have all of Tailspin on DVD. But yeah, like having that back catalog of all the shows plus all the new stuff. I'm gonna give a shout out to the Puppy Dog Pals. Like, I'm a big fan of Harlan Wayans' show.
The Disney Channel stuff. Like, come on, give me Lizzie McGuire, please. Please.
I don't know where to go for that, but
Even Stevens.
Oh,
You guys weren't watching the Disney Channel in the like mid to late 90s? Because I was probably way too old to be watching that stuff. But Johnny Tsunami, like the Disney Channel had some great like late 90s movies too.
let alone a shit ton of movies. Like, yeah, like I
Blank Check.
Blank Check. I wasn't super
Blank
excited for Disney Plus, but as it's getting closer to coming out, and like, you know me, I'm sports or what. I don't give two shits about the ESPN Plus thing, but it's cool that it's there.
Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah, Swiss Family Robinson.
Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah. I just found it funny that I think Larry has a secret crush on Hillary Duff.
Is it really secret though?
Because he really wants that Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's pretty open.
Lizzie
Larry has
McGuire
some
was
crushes.
a great show.
Wasn't that also Hannah Montana, or was that a different?
Hannah
one?
Montana was on the Disney Channel.
Yeah. So there you go. So we got quite a few, but yeah. So like, Disney is going to kill it with the fact that when it launches,
Oh,
It has
wait, real quick.
massive back catalog.
Tyler Calvert's dropping some heat right here. Like I said,
Susie Q.
Luck of the Irish.
Yeah.
Luck of the Irish was such a great. The stupid ears on that.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
That was a great
Xenon,
movie.
Girl from the Future. Come on,
Oh,
that movie was awesome.
Or how about the Halloween movie, Wrapped Up?
Yes, I remember that one too. Halloween Town, wasn't that another one?
Halloween Town was, I think that was them, yeah.
Yeah. There were some great Disney Channel movies. Like, I don't know. I feel like those are like there's certain things that are missing from the streaming world. Those Disney Channel properties, like, give me those on Disney Plus. Now.
So what you're saying is we're all signing up for Disney Plus, and we're gonna have a podcast on Luck of the Irish and all these other Disney.
Oh yeah,
movies.
we're gonna have a shitty movie podcast stream one of these days.
Wait, in addition to the other shitty movie podcast stream called Totally Rad Movie Podcast?
In addition to that.
In addition, yeah.
Or it could be in cohort, because some of those would meet the time frame we established for ourselves for the Totally Rad Movie podcast.
Here, let's go ahead and plug the Totally Rad Movie podcast. Like I said, outline. What are you guys gonna do? Like,
so Larry and I, in an earlier episode, had found out that Larry has never seen the movie Top Gun, and we thought that was quite a shock. And we understand, Jeremy, you're not a big fan of Top Gun, but we made a joke that we were going to say I was going to make Larry watch it, and we were going to go and talk about it one of these days. And we actually got feedback from people saying this would be a great idea. So we decided we would make the Totally Rad Movie podcast. We established what, Larry? I think it has to be movie made before 1995. So 95 and before.
With some exceptions.
With some exceptions. And generally 1980 to 1995. So our golden years of childhood. We are going to watch movies that we either haven't seen in a long time, or that Larry or I have not seen, and then we're going to basically either give it praise or shit all over it.
That sounds totally rad.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that is what we're doing.
Dropping the heat right there.
That's going to be great.
Yeah,
we're talking like Top Gun.
I can't wait to see the Top Gun one.
Say Anything is going to be one. Like, there's...
Manny Night Bodega on Twitter said we should watch that Masters of the Universe movie.
The old He-Man one, yeah.
Willow.
Anything's kind of up for grabs. We have grand plans too for involving listeners, so it's going to be cool.
I really want the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. That's going to be one of my favorite ones, to see him naked in the sewers several times throughout the movie.
Stallone, Judge Dredd.
Yeah. Clint says he wants in. That's part of the plan.
Yeah, so bringing people in so we can talk about a shitty movie back in the day. My wife brings up
Uncles with Chris, Super Mario Brothers. Yes.
Yeah, like Mario Brothers. My wife brings up Megalodon, which I think is like Shark Attack 3. It was like trying to be a Jaws ripoff, and they had a Megalodon one where they used footage of sharks that weren't great whites as the sharks in the water. It's a great white that attacks the boat, but apparently they're like, fucking Discovery Channel footage of like random tiger sharks is fine. Movies like that.
And I think everybody knows that I like merch and putting our logos on stuff. So I've got some big ideas of some totally rad stuff that we'll have to give away. And
like you said, we already showed the coasters.
Yeah, I mean, like, it took me less than a week to hit up Sticker Mule and get some totally rad coasters printed up. So
and our official logo. We have a logo.
We have a logo. Like, we're gonna have a name the mascot contest. Like, there's gonna be cool stuff. So it's like, I think we mentioned the other day, like, it's gonna be on the STS Guys channel, right? Like, we'll record live on YouTube. It's kind of like a spin-off from the main show. There's a totally rad Instagram that you can follow us at Totally Rad Pod. Instagram and Twitter, but it's all under it's a brought to you by the STS Guys podcast.
Yes. Nice.
So Nate, I think we need a spinoff. Like I said, if Larry and Scott are gonna have a spinoff, come on, buddy, we need a spinoff. What are we gonna do? You think about that, buddy.
Yeah,
Well,
we're
this
gonna have
is
to think about something.
This is basically what we did like a year ago when me and Jeremy were going to do a pop podcast, and Scott and Nate were going to do a video game podcast. We just never did anything with it. And this time, like, Scott and I threw it out there, and then I'm like, I just started buying domains and making merch and paying $5 for a logo, and now it's going to happen.
This is such an easy thing. It's like we watch a movie and we talk about it. It's what we do here anyway. So we're just going to do old movies instead of new ones.
Right? All the stuff that I haven't seen.
All the stuff that Larry hasn't seen. Or I will say there is a couple 80s movies that I don't remember. And I will gladly watch bad 80s movies for the sake of entertainment and to talk bad about them.
I like it.
Clint took one of my ideas. I was thinking like an action figure podcast, maybe, Jeremy.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Figure fans.
Always.
Figure fans, where you can like talk about Mezco figures. Whoa.
Is there
Mezco exclusive.
Mezco exclusive.
Is there a There aren't any Mezco podcasts, are there? Like, that's
No,
not a
there's
bad
more, like,
idea.
I
mean, Tyler.
figure-centric stuff. but-
Yeah.
How about
I think it's
the Mezco Minute with Nate and Jeremy?
Oh, there you go.
You're going to have to talk really fast if it's only going to be 60 seconds.
I don't know.
60 seconds, go.
All right, we got this figure. It's really cool. Bye.
Yeah.
Boom.
Bye.
That Iron
Speaking of
Fist now comes with the
Mezcos,
sash. Thanks.
Speaking of Mezcos, yeah, Iron Fist comes with a sash now because of Fan Outlash. They said, hey,
Because
we heard you. We know you're pissed.
They didn't get the fucking model right. Like
Yeah.
that was
But
a
it's-
very big part of the costume from the comics that's missing.
But it's really cool that they acknowledged it and gave the community the credit that, hey, we're listening, guys. You're right. We could have made this better. It's an easy, small tweak. And yeah, the Iron Fist has an upgrade now. And that figure looks a whole lot more cool than those original pictures they showed.
It's amazing what one little thing, how it makes a difference as far as appearance.
Yeah.
What a sash.
Yeah.
What a sash.
Well, that sash, it's weird having the onesie, but the sash kind of makes it not look like a onesie. I think that's what it is.
So we were talking nude podcasts. I don't know if you guys know, there's a new podcast out there by 4 friends. It's called The 4 Dorksmen. That's right. Our friend Clint
In the chat.
who happens to be in the chat, Angry Nate, Beef Squatch, and Asian Tony Stark have started their own like Funko kind of centric pop culture podcast. It's called The 4 Dorksmen. It's available now on SoundCloud and Spotify, and I think Google Play. So it's getting everywhere. They just dropped their first episode on Thursday. I listened right away. It was really good. So well done, guys. Go check them out. They're on Instagram and Twitter and stuff too. So you can find them. I tweeted out their stuff earlier. I think it's 4_Dorksmen, but it's the _Dorksmen. But anyway, go check our Twitter and you'll be able to find it.
Boom.
Nice.
So, all right,
And if you go to
so
our
I was going to say,
Twitter-
go shill.
Yeah, and if
Shill,
you know where
Larry.
our Twitter is, we're on Twitter at STS Guys. We're on Instagram at STS Guys. We're on the Facebook at the STS Guys, and I am Larry from the STS Guys.
Showing like a villain.
And then, after you do that, you should buy some Funko Pops. And you should head to shumistore.com and enter code STS Guys to save 10%.
You know what? I just pre-ordered a shit ton of pops just because they've been dropping fire lately. You got that Marilyn Manson pop, you got that Rob Zombie pop,
Yeah,
Like-
the Rob Zombie one was really cool. That they're calling him a moon person, but like the old VMA Moon Man.
yeah.
Like that one's really cool too.
Yeah, or I
Nice.
pre-ordered that one. I also they finally released, because I saw that tease last year at Fun Days, was that they finally released that Purge set.
Those look awesome too.
Like I said, I really like that. I really like that movie franchise, The Purge. Definitely pre-ordered a ton from Shumi, so definitely use that code STS Guys. It works on pre-orders too.
It does, and it works on the app because Shumi's got an app now. So if you download the app, sometimes they drop random exclusives. Like earlier today, they threw up some store exclusives that they had purchased, I guess. And you can buy those too, and then you can enter that code STS Guys and save 10% on the specials they got too.
Right.
It's awesome.
Gotta love a place that lets you save on pre-orders.
And then,
Yeah, it's really cool.
and if you need to make money to buy those pre-orders,
What's there a way for them to make money, Jeremy?
you know what they can do? They can go to Podcoin and they can get paid to listen to podcasts like the STS Guys, like Talking Pops, like DC Figures Fan Club, and pretty soon I'm guessing like the Ford Worksman. I said definitely go to Podcoin, listen to the podcast, get paid to listen to the podcast. It's the best.
It's the best.
It's the best.
I like how he just ripped off. Like I said,
Copyright infringement.
That's still my favorite ripoff. For three little words.
Nobody would know if you're not from Arizona, so
Dude,
it's the best.
No,
Alright.
that place is all over.
It's the
that,
best.
that is a national
I think it's
company.
I think it's a
Is
pretty
it? Oh,
big-
I thought it was like an Arizona jewelry store.
No,
dun,
that's,
dun.
London Gold is everywhere.
Don't say the name.
That's an
Don't
admission
say
of
the
guilt.
name.
That's just all about throwing randomness out today.
Yeah,
Again.
I'll pick up the torrents now, guys. I'll see you
no,
later.
no one is watching this to the point where they're going to be like, these guys took the London Gold thing, and they were going to be like,
correction. There are 8
There-
people watching this.
I want a cease and desist. To be honest, I want one to get sent to us.
Remember, all right, I got a local one. Remember JJ, the king of beepers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ is the king of beepers. Maybe Podcoin could be the king of podcast apps.
Oh,
Or-
there you go.
Is there like a Pod King? Somebody needs to make Pod
No,
King.
do you remember Sofa King?
Oh yeah,
Sofa King?
I do.
Sofa
Yeah.
King?
Sofa King. It's a sofa store. Get
Yeah.
it? Sofa King.
Yeah, Sofa
They're
King.
Sofa King awesome.
Sofa King,
Yeah.
Sofa
They
King,
sound
awesome.
really,
Yeah.
really cool.
All right. Well, with that, I'm pretty sure we just derailed ourselves.
so-
It's
I'll-
everybody's favorite part of the podcast, the
It's the
derailment.
best.
where we end and we're like, we don't know where to go from here. So, Jeremy, I think you know where to go.
I know where to go. For episode 97 of the STS Guys, I've been Jeremy.
Hey, it's Larry.
Hey guys, it's Nate.
And I'm Scott.
And we're the STS Guys. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.